How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. I was just at home doing a lot of different things, working on my radio show and doing some parental responsibilities. And I kind of got lost. Sorry, I got lost in the flow.
That's okay. I totally understand. I'm a single mom. I get it.
Oh my gosh, you totally get it.
Totally get it. I'm really looking forward to discussing your collaboration with the Hollow Trees and your plans for 2024. But just before we dive into that, let's take a moment to reflect on the past year. 2023 was a whirlwind for you. Could you share what the experiences were like and any highlights of moments that particularly stood out?
Ooh, that was such a long time ago, 2023. Well, I've been finishing up I have been working on the Hollow Trees, Lisa Loeb collaboration, which means making videos and photo shoots and mixing records and doing all the things that are involved in that. I also did a lot of work, interestingly, on something that I loved, a music thing. I got to work with one of my favorite collaborators, Kyler England, who I've written a lot with. I was asked to write music for Barbie, not the big Barbie movie, but Barbie's known for their movies, their animated sort of CGI animated movies that I know my kids have enjoyed and I've enjoyed, and they have a lot of music in them. And so we were asked to write the music for a movie, which ended up turning into 6 music videos instead. But so we spent some really fun time writing these songs um, about. It's typical things I work with when I'm working on children's music or children's TV music, but songs about friendship and adventure and being yourself and things that I really enjoy doing. And they sound like just regular songs. So that was a really fun creative project. Um, Gosh, there's so many things that happened last year, but that was a really fun project. And it's also weird when you've written something like that and you have to keep it quiet for months and months and months because it's a secret until it comes out. And that finally just started coming out. Every week there's like a new video.
Yeah, those NDAs, they can be tough.
Very tough, seriously. I know
Yeah.
there's a couple of other projects too I'm just thinking of now that are not out yet that I can't talk about yet because they don't exist as far as you know. And they don't exist.
Well, and I wanted to ask, amidst your hectic routine juggling music, motherhood, and all of your other commitments, including your podcast, could you share a simple daily activity or ritual that you rely on for relaxation or enjoyment?
Well, every day I have to have my coffee, 2 shots of coffee with my milk and sugar. And then I have to do my gaming. I have to play games. I have to do my Wordle and my now I do connections. I try to do the crossword, spelling bee. I just love playing those games so much. I have high hopes of doing things like writing every day, meditating every day. I usually take a walk or do some kind of exercise every day because I really enjoy that. Um, Dancing every day. I also love cooking, and I've been doing that a lot. But really, the thing that I definitely do is I wake up and I drink my coffee and I have my toast and usually almond butter, peanut butter, and jelly, and do my little games. That's what I can rely on.
Awesome. Um, and we talked about Barbie. That was exactly what I was gonna bring up, an exciting project to be part of. Barbie does do a lot of movies. My daughter's still on that Barbie ride.
How old is she?
She's 10.
Oh yeah, I mean it's even my daughter who's 14 will have it like a nostalgic walk back down the Barbie movie. We'll be at grandparents' house and they still have DVDs and she'll watch those movies. But I know as a kid, I still have a lot of my Barbies from when I was a kid, and if not the actual toys, I've purchased like a Barbie airplane that looked like the Barbie airplane that I had when I was a kid because it just brings me so much joy, so much imagination. It was like the early years of meditation and creativity and just sinking into this world where you would either be alone or with me with my sister or other friends, creating these entire worlds with actual Barbie things or things we'd bring into the Barbie world to make them, into beds and rooms and businesses and all kinds of stuff. And it's just this magical, creative world that you can sink into. And my childhood Barbie experience also had some music in it. There was this one Mattel doll called called Flower. Wait, what were they called? Flower. I know what they're called. I'll tell you. Hold on. I was just talking about them. Flower. They were called, wait a minute, let me tell you, rock flowers. And they were sort of miniature Barbies, and they came with a little single, like a plastic single that you could actually play on your record player, and a stand that you would stand the Barbie in the middle and they would dance around. And the songs were so groovy and great, and I loved them. And that was an early example of when I heard music that was, I guess, meant for kids, but it actually just sounded like really cool music. And so to be able to be in a world where you get to create the music of the dolls, it's like, it's a dream come true.
It comes full circle.
It really does. And it gets you sort of stuck back in it. And I love being in that place. That's like the best place to be.
Now, I know a really big project for you is Hollow Trees. I do want to ask about it. What initially drew you to the Hollow Trees, and at what point did you decide to collaborate um with it?
Well, I for a long, long time, I've always had a relationship with music from my childhood. I did a summer camp songs record because I was obsessed with the songs from summer camp and that experience, and I wanted to share that with others. So I made a Camp Lisa record, and then I made two illustrated kids books to follow up on that with even more silly songs and movement songs. Um, I also did a lullaby record that had a bunch of old songs from growing up. Um, and I dipped my toe into the old timey songs when I recorded a song called Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries for my dad with my friend Larry Goldings, who's an amazing jazz pianist. We did a really classic sounding recording of Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries. And I really found myself connected with those standards. So I've always had this dream of recording some of my favorite songs, again, that have that kind of blurry line between grown up and kids music. Songs like Don't Fence Me In, the Doodlin' song, um, Maresy Dotes, which has kind of silly lyrics, a bunch of different songs, even the Hokey Pokey songs that I loved growing up that would bring us all out on the dance floor, would make us all want to sing along, songs I would sit and play with my dad at the piano. Well, he actually played the piano, I would just sing along. But all these old timey songs, I just wanted to make a really great recording of those songs at some point. And when my daughter was very young, I went to a children's music festival, and there was this band playing called the Hollow Trees. I had never heard of them, but they'd been around a little bit, and they were the old timey band. They had a banjo and accordion, guitar, upright bass, drums, singers, a really great sense of humor and authenticity and kitschiness, but in a really earnest, sweet way. And I just saw them and I thought, that is the band that I need to work with this band. You know, I need to make music with this band. They also live in that place where it's kind of ageless, you know, it appeals to kids because it's so earnest and has really good silliness and storytelling and original songs with funny lyrics as well as classic songs. So I thought, I got to make this record. So little by little, we kept running into each other at different children's festivals, some that I was playing. And I said, you know, I really want to work with you. And finally, finally, we got it together during COVID times. Is right before COVID times, we decided to do it. And so it took a little longer than expected, but it's been just such a great opportunity to get to know those folks as people. They're just great people and great musicians. And they understand that place where you can take something really seriously, but also have a little bit of a sense of humor about it. And it's been just a really fun project. So the album is going to be called, when it comes out, it's not out yet, it's called That's What It's All About, which is a reference to one of the songs on the record, the Hokey Pokey.
Yeah.
And it's Lisa Loeb and the Hollow Trees.
Um, and what would you say do you think that it was something that influenced you as a child, that type of music? Those kind of classic songs that bridge multiple generations?
It's just I mean, I did listen to quite a lot of music growing up. There was a lot of music in the house between the radio and the record player, and and then what was popular and the records we would start buying, and then music my friends would play for me. I mean, music was very central all the time. So this was just one kind of music that I also like, as much as I don't like categorizing music because I think it can work against our openness to certain types of music. In my brain, I think I just started um, putting together this little list of songs that I was like, huh, that's interesting. This is a song, but it kind of sounds like silly, like a kid's song. I don't know. There was just that place in the middle. I even recorded the song A Tisket a Tasket, which is known as like a standard, but it's also kind of like a children's rhyme. So it's something I noticed. And also, I think I started thinking about the music I listened to as a child when I started making music for children. Along the way, actually, Barnes and Noble decided to put out records, and they asked if I could do an exclusive record with them to be sold at Barnes and Noble. Which, as a marketing person, what a great idea! Like to have a record that people were definitely going to see in the stores. It's hard to get your music, listened to, or people to know that you even have music out. But that was just so cool. And they wanted me to do something different. And so this was like a kick in the pants and an opportunity to try something different. And I'd always wanted to make kids music because I loved it from my childhood, like I said. Albums like Free to Be You and Me, and like Really Rosie, the Carole King record for kids. And I wanted to do that. So I ended up making a kids record with my friend Elizabeth Mitchell, who was my music partner for years and years from college onward. She had gotten really well known and had some great experience making kids records that are just beautiful. Elizabeth Mitchell. So I asked her to make a record with me, which ended up being more for younger kids. But as I moved along, I really just sunk into that kind of music that it ends up being fun to play at my grown-up shows. Like grown-ups relate to it more sometimes, I think,
Mhm.
than hearing another love song, songs that have all different kinds of topics and it's about life, or I don't know, using your imagination a little bit more. But again, that's where you start hearing, like Beatles songs or some of these old standards, where there's a lot of wordplay and imagination. So it's fun to be in that blurry area as a creative person.
Yeah, I know a lot of those records and those lullabies that you and other artists put out were the first music that my daughter listened to.
Oh
I
yeah.
buy the records and she'll put the record on and every year she gets a record, but those that music really started her out in music, listening to music and listening to records,
Yeah.
it's, us parents are very appreciative to have it's, you know, something nice to listen to as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, there's a
You know?
time and a place for it too, right? Because I think about my kids, they loved Daft Punk. They loved, when they were really little, they loved the song September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I have videos of them, in their little car seats and me changing the channel and then being like, no. And they'd start crying. And then I put it back on the song they wanted to hear and I'd change the channel again. They're like, no. Or, they really want to hear Michael Jackson, or they really need to hear, like I said, Daft Punk. So there's a time and a place for a good nursery rhyme, or a a silly song. I love Perry Grip, who has songs like "It's Raining Tacos." It cracks me up so much. It's hamster on a piano eating popcorn is just a great song. There's a great time and a place for that. I mean, all the time usually, but there's all kinds of songs. And when I was a kid, I listened to some of those nursery rhymes that were sung to me, but I also loved like the pop songs of the 70s and the really sad, depressing songs, and some classical music, and just all kinds of music.
Well, speaking of timeless, I know that you've been asked about this a lot, but it's it's personal to me as well, my generation, but it's a very special occasion considering this year is going to mark the 30th anniversary of Stay.
Oh yeah,
Um,
incredible.
it's absolutely incredible. I've talked about this song and this album with a lot of friends of mine, personal friends, friends of music. Personally, I'm 42, so I mean that's spoke right to my generation. It's you made it you made it cool for us girls. Like it was like cool to like have a guitar and be a little nerdy and like but still speak your mind,
Yeah,
like
like be yourself.
yep.
I'm so glad to hear that, because it is true. There was a lot going on. I mean, there's always been a lot going on in media and music, and women and their portrayal. I think I just stuck to my own guns and my own aesthetics and my own, I was true to myself, which meant wearing glasses because I can't see very well. And I found some really cute glasses that I've been wearing for years. I love cat eye glasses. You're wearing really cute pink ones right now. I think glasses are just a really cool accessory. And if you can't see, it's very exciting to be able to see in focus. So it all works out. It is also, I guess, slightly mysterious, but I like that sexy librarian thing. I don't, I think it's important to like be yourself, whoever that is. And so in that day, and I guess am sort of still in the same place. It's like if I want to wear a short skirt because that feels good to me and it's cute, I'll do it. I think that's a strong look and it feels strong. It's not because somebody told me to. Um, and I feel like at the time with the song Stay, there were a lot of other songs and music coming out at the time, some that were a little bit more um my song was a little bit very wordy. It didn't have a typical structure. It was based in acoustic guitar, even though I loved rock music really. I ended up playing more acoustic. Had a guitar lick that was central to the music. I mean, there's a lot of unusual things about it. But at the time some music I feel like which is good. There were some women who were making like angry rock, and I did a little bit of that, but for me it was more authentic to me to have a lot of different perspectives, be a little bit sort of neurotic in my song, talking about things from a lot of different angles, and also having a good blowout at the same time. And
It's
like so
yeah.
I think you can do everything. You can have an interest in what you're wearing and what you're saying and what you're doing. The one issue with Stay I remember that was an issue for me was when we made the video. It was hard for me as a headstrong young gal, as it still is today. I'm a very headstrong person who knows what I want and tries to get it. But I really wanted to be seen playing guitar in the video because I play guitar and sing and I wrote the song. And at the time, there were a lot of pop singers who didn't necessarily play instruments or write songs. And I felt like that was important to show that because I knew at that time and still today, if you don't stand up for yourself and sort of show who you are or what you do, you may not be able to continue doing those things that you enjoy doing because people assume you don't do them. And then they don't really want you to do those things, whether it's play guitar, or produce music, or whatever. But Ethan Hawke had such a great idea of a one take video, and it didn't look very good with me carrying a guitar. It looked better just talking to the camera. So we didn't end up using any footage of me with a guitar or with my band, which for years it was a little bit hard because I had to keep sort of defending myself that I was a real musician. But um, in the end, I think the artistic expression of just singing the song and having one take said so much more than me being able to say like, oh, and I play guitar. You know,
Well,
I,
not just that, but your success with Stay as the first artist to hit number one without a
mm,
record label was groundbreaking.
it
I
was,
mean,
it was, it was great way to start off too because I had been working for so long, ever since I was a kid, writing music and learning about the music business and playing shows and recording albums and all these things. And then here it was many years later, although right out of college, a couple years out of college, um, having having a great team. My attorney was a great team, and having the foresight to license the song to the Reality Bite soundtrack, but stay an independent artist for a little bit longer. That was really smart. That was really close to my heart because, like I said, I'm really outspoken and I know what I want to make and I know what I want to do. And we were looking for an opportunity where I was going to be able to do that. And at the time, there were a lot of situations, and still are, where musicians get signed to labels, and then somebody else is kind of in charge of them and kind of trying to tell them what to do. And sometimes an artist doesn't know what the right time is to collaborate or not to collaborate on those things. Um, so it was nice to have that the start of a professional music career, like the real professional part of the music career, not the indie part that started before that, in a very independent way. So it was kind of the best of all worlds. It's very special.
are there any special plans or projects that you're working on to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Stay?
There are. I don't know if I'm supposed to say them yet. There's a couple of different things we're working on, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it yet. I think I have to wait, and then when it actually is about to come out, then we mention it.
Okay, so we still got a hint. We still got a hint. I'll
Yeah,
take
there
it.
are.
I'll
Yeah,
take
because
it.
I forget to celebrate these anniversaries. It's funny on Sirius XM, I'm always talking about other people's 25th anniversary of this and 30th anniversary of that. And then I realize, oh yeah, I forget to put an exclamation point at the end of some of these things for myself. Um, and there are so many albums and singles and videos and TV shows and things to celebrate. It's fun to be nostalgic and to look back. And to also, I think it's important for us to give ourselves a little pat on the back. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today, Lisa. I mean, it's just, you've been a very inspiring person. We're looking forward to your upcoming release with the Hollow Trees. Is there anything else that you would like to say out there to the fans?
Well, look, I would like you to, this is very like commercial sounding, but my son has a goal for me to reach 100,000 followers on YouTube, which is kind of really smart because there is a thing with the way computers work or the what's it called behind the scene
The
behind the scenes,
algorithm?
the algorithm that if you hit a certain number, then a lot more people will get to hear and share your music. So I'm excited to share my music. We do have a brand new video with the Hollow Trees out. So definitely check that out. Make sure you subscribe and follow. That's what my son says to say. Um, yeah. So I would say what I would love for people to, there's a lot of music videos and songs you might know about, but you haven't seen or listened to, and you may not even know about them. So definitely go down that rabbit hole on my, I welcome you, that doesn't sound right, but I welcome you to the rabbit hole of my YouTube channel where you can hear and see a lot of music.
And you also have a podcast?
Oh, I also have a podcast on Sirius XM, and you can listen to it by searching Where They Are Now on the Sirius XM app. And I think there's a lot of ways to get a free couple of months if you, go try to sign up. I believe they always have promotions running if you don't already have Sirius XM. And I'm also a DJ on Sirius XM 90s on 9. But I love the podcast because I get to talk to musicians who you might know
Mhm.
from the 90s and
Yeah,
actors and other iconic people and talk to them about what they're doing now.
it's great. It's
Kind of like
great.
what we're doing now. The
We love
tables are
it. Like
turned.
our generation, we love it. We're like, hey, we're
Yeah.
like cool again.
Yeah. You never were not cool. You were never not cool.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. You tell my 10-year-old daughter that when I drop her off
Oh,
at
I know.
school.
Oh, do I know? I know. It's like we're the worst. We're the most uncool guitar players in the room.
Yeah, like you'd think concert photographer, like
I
journalist
know,
mom, like that would be cool, but nope.
right? I know. I'm like, what does it take? Oh well.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know what to
thank you
say.
so much. I really appreciate you with the interview. It's
Thank
great to
you.
hear what you're up to.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.